Alright guys, I want to talk a little bit about taking your dog off of property and into an environment where there's lots of distraction. Here's how you can be successful. You don't just load the dog up, head off of property, get them out of the car and rock and roll with them. Not if they're new in their training. That would be a mistake and you wouldn't have a good first experience, okay? So I'm not talking about doing this with a dog who's, several years old. They should be able to ebb and flow pretty good. But this is Lila, and Lila is working on her public access training. And this is the first time that I've taken her off of property. So I want to show you how I would tune her up in the parking lot before I would go into a store or something like that. You want to park out, so walk with me. Heel. You want to park out in the parking lot away from people, okay? Because you look at the dog, she's concerned. She's looking at everything going like, oh my gosh, right? This is overwhelming, right? And so I know that if she's struggling out here, she's really gonna struggle in the store where there's lots of other people. And so I want to tune her up and I want to get her head in the game out here in the parking lot where I have space and distance from people, so that if I do have to give her a correction or something like that, it's in a little bit more of a private atmosphere and it's not right up against people, right? We know the world we live in today. Helping her to see that my expectations for heel are still the same as they are at home. So I went ahead and I did tap her there because her heels are getting a little bit wide for me. I don't like that too much. No, I went ahead and corrected there. Down. Good girl. Girl, okay, yes, I know. It's a sucker for the belly rub. Lila has a very tender disposition, okay, and she gets overwhelmed very easily. So, bringing her out into an environment like this really is overwhelming for her. So that's why you see her, she's like really unsure. So by going out and leaving property and leaving an environment that she's used to will really help to boost her confidence over time. But you're seeing this as a day one type of situation where she is uncomfortable. She is nervous. But I still have to show her all the expectations are the same here as they are at home. Break. Good. Okay. So making her hold her down stays, because you saw there, I asked her to go into a down and hold a stay, and then she broke it. Why? Because I stepped away and she goes, I'm nervous. I want to be near you. I'm nervous. And I have to say to her, I know you're nervous, but a down stay is a down stay. It doesn't change just because we're in this environment. And so if you struggle with being strict with your dog off of property, or you give them allowances off of property, they'll remember that and they'll take advantage of you off of property. Sit. Good girl. Down. Good. So let's try that again. She's uncomfortable because I stepped away and she's like, well, where are you going? Again, remember, that's her personality. She's very tender-hearted. She's like, where are you going? But because I held her accountable the first time she broke the stay, she goes, okay, I get it. Expectations off property is the same at home. Yep, sure are. And so when you do this little 2, 3, 4 minute tune-up out in the parking lot before you go into the store, oh my gosh, you'll have such a better experience in there. I can also tell you that I brought board and trained dogs out to do public access stuff, and they did so terrible in the parking lot that I couldn't even go into the store. So you may find that yourself. You may get out into a parking lot and you might be like, oh, this is not going good. No big deal. Go home, work on things for another week or two, try it again. You know, the dog will tell you if they're ready or if they're not. So if you're having to give a bunch of corrections out in the parking lot, you know, you're probably not in a good space to go into the store, and that's okay. It happens with us too. So that's just a little tip that I have for folks when you're trying to get a dog to the point where you can take the show on the road. You want to tune them up a little bit in the parking lot prior to going into a store. I hope this helps.